What's up guys, how you all doing? Welcome to another video. So today we're talking about why I shoot Canon. Why have I chosen Canon over all the options that are out there? There are some fantastic cameras if you want to buy Sony or Nikon, some of you might say, Fuji, even like Olympus, Panasonic. There's loads of camera companies out there. Why have I chosen Canon? We're going to answer that question today. Well, so first and foremost, we should probably start with why I started off with Canon. That's quite a long time ago now, and I've stuck with Canon the whole way through, and there's a reason. But why did I start with Canon? Well, quite simply, and I imagine probably as is the same with most of us, I just did. And by that I mean, I got into photography. A friend of mine who's also a photographer, he shot with Canon. So I wanted to buy a camera. I started talking to him, getting some advice, and I went to choose a camera. So I guess kind of either directly or subconsciously or based on his advice, I just kind of had Canon in my head. Now, from the beginning, I kind of wanted to start with a half-decent camera, and so with my budget at the time, that was the Canon 7D. That's the 7D Mark I, the original one. And that was the first, I guess, proper camera that I bought, the Canon 7D. Now, from there, my gear progressed. I guess the natural progression, I went from the 7D to the 7D Mark II, and then I wanted to start using something a bit more advanced. Now, I bounced around a few different used cameras, like I tried out a 1D3 for a while, a 1D Mark IV, I think a 5D for a little while. So I tried lots of different cameras, but ultimately I settled on the 1DX, a camera which I still have right now. In fact, I still have my 7D Mark II right now. Cameras which I still use today, the 1DX. Now, I used my 1DX extensively for a long period of time. Then I moved briefly, just kind of in an experiment of trying out the mirrorless system, to the Canon EOS R. Then very soon from there progressed to the Canon R6, which I use right now. You guys are on it right now. I'm filming my video with the R6. So that leaves me there today as a Canon shooter. And that poses the obvious question. Why don't I want to shoot with Sony? Why don't I want to shoot with Nikon? Well, the honest answer is because it would be really difficult at this stage to switch my gear, to switch everything I have to another system. Now, bear with me, I'm going to touch more on that point in just a minute, because first of all, let's look at some of the alternative systems. With a lot of the work that I do see a lot of Sony shooters and a lot of Nikon shooters. I see those pitch side at sports events. There are some very high-end sports cameras in both Nikon and Sony. Both brands have several different cameras which are great for sports, but right now I guess kind of the flagship ones and the ones which would compete with Canon's flagship, the R3, although I believe Canon still claim that the R3 sits below the 1DX Mark III, but ultimately the R3 is their flagship camera. I think they're claiming it's not because they're waiting for the release of the R1, which will then be their flagship camera. But the Sony equivalent right now is probably the A1, and the Nikon equivalent would probably be the Z9. So those are their two kind of high end. And you do get advantages with both those cameras that you might not get with the R3. So for example, one criticism I heard of the R3 is the sensor size. The fact it only has, 24 megapixel sensor, something like that. Whereas I think the Nikon, I believe, is 45 megapixels and the Sony A1 is a 50 megapixel camera. So you do get some advantages, things that people might want. But then again, a lot of people, and I'm probably in this camp, would look at actually, you know what, that's too much. That then poses other problems for me, like file size and noise and ISO performance. Whereas the R3 with the 24 megapixel sensor, that is going to be better in some of those scenarios. If someone said, there you go, Rob, you can have a Sony A1, a Nikon Z9, or you can have a Canon R3, which do you want? Well, you know what, I would still choose the Canon, based a little bit on some of that information I just said, but also because it fits into my gear. If you change camera systems, it's not just as simple as you saying, you know what, I'm going to sell my R6 and I'm going to buy a Z9 or I'm going to buy an A1. The trouble is then, is I have to look at everything else within my equipment. Straight away, of course, it means all of my lenses. My lenses would need to change. And it's not just that, I'm then looking at like the spare batteries I have, some of the other equipment, like, you know, simple things like some of my accessories and stuff I've bought because they fit around my current camera system. So the investment, the wholesale investment across the board of switching my whole camera system from Canon to Sony, for example, would be extensive. And I don't believe there are enough benefits of switching to any of those systems that would be valuable enough for that trade-off, that expense, because even when you trade in all your gear and you sell your current gear, there's still going to be an overall expense that you will incur for switching to a whole new system. When you look at some of the other technical bits, a lot of the prices are very comparable. The autofocus system across those three cameras, for example, again, is very comparable. There are people who would say that maybe the Sony's better. There are people who say that the Canon's better. The Nikon is fantastic autofocus, but actually probably not quite on the level of the other two right now. Image quality wise, again, very comparable. I don't believe that somebody would be able to go out there and shoot a photo with an A1, a Z9 or an R3 that they're not going to be able to shoot on the other two cameras. Any decent photographer would be able to take amazing images with all three of those cameras. For me though, I've chosen Canon. It's not because I'm out and out Canon. I'm not going to criticize the others. Yeah, you don't see videos really about the others on this channel because I don't have those cameras. I am a Canon shooter. Although once we got hold of the Canon R7, we are going to be doing some comparisons with some of the equivalent cameras from some of the other systems, and I think those will be some cool videos. Whilst we're talking about that, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do to catch out all those when they do come our way. Whilst you're doing it, hit the like button, hit the notification, all the other YouTube stuff, because it helps me out loads and loads on this channel. For today though, I think that just about rounds us off. I hope that helps to answer the question, why am I a Canon shooter? Why did I choose Canon of all those camera systems that are out there? Well, there you go guys. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button and I will see you on the next video.